I remember in 2015 when the FK2 Honda Civic Type R was announced. The general consensus was, Honda, what have you done? Crashed into Halfords and hit every single shelf on the way through. It really was the ASBO car of the era. Since then, it's grown huge love and respect from owners as one of the best hot hatches you can buy. It's also pretty rare. They only made 8,000 units and produced it for 2 years compared to the FK8, the EP3 and the FN2, which range from anywhere between 28,000 and 50,000 units. So it's probably why you don't see too many of them on the road, and also why I'm very lucky to be driving one today. The 10th generation Civic puts out just under 310 horsepower, 400 newton meters of torque, will get you to 0 to 62 in about 5.7 seconds and a top speed of 167 mile an hour with a weight of around 1,400 kilos. It's a mostly angular but actually quite smooth design. These vents in the front wings provide virtually nothing other than make it look like an angry teenager when it's coming up in your rear view mirror. And the really large rear wing provides both a decent table for eating your McDonald's at 11 o'clock in the evening, and then also downforce and stability at higher speeds. Boot space, huge to be honest. Put whatever you want in there. You can also put the back seats down so you've got even more space, and then you've even got a little cubby hole that lifts up that you can store your drugs in if you need to. Right, let's take a look inside. As well as being a very good track car, it's also a pretty good family car. So you've got the 4 doors, which then take you into the really nice rear seats, family size rear seats. We've got these lovely bucket seats at the front, which are standard on the Type R. In terms of storage, you've got a little cubby hole just down here, a couple of cup holders, the door pockets, and a really nice sized glove box. Really, really lovely design on this gear stick, absolutely love it. And then just above, you've got the Type R plaque. The head unit is very, very dated. It's not nice to look at all. We've then got this little heads-up display just above. You've then also got the speedo up the top, which I can't see because I'm too short to see over the steering wheel. And then you've got this absolutely lovely, lovely, lovely dashboard with your rev counter and fuel and whatnot, which then if you press the R button, puts it into R mode, which we'll talk a bit more about when we're doing the driving review. But it also turns the dash red, which is just so cool, so cool. Right, let's take it for a drive. Got to be honest, turning circle on this thing is absolutely horrible. It is huge, huge turning circle. Right, start with things that I don't like. So the first thing is, now I was going to say this, but actually I don't really agree with it. I was going to say that I wasn't massively keen on the electric steering, and we all know that I don't like electric steering, but actually, the more I've been driving the car and the more I'm used to it, the more I don't notice the electric steering. I actually think it's pretty good, to be honest. So I'm going to ignore that one as something that I don't not like. The second thing is, so this little dash thing up here, you have to scroll through by clicking the info button on the steering wheel. Now, you then decide what screen you want it on, and the car will then go, actually no, I want you to have the parking sensor screen that tells you what's going on around it and whether you're going to crash into things. So you have to manually then exit out of it, and it will go back to your screen that you selected. But it's just a little bit annoying having to do that when you've already scrolled through, you know, the whole menu, and then it comes up, and unless you know that you need to click that button or you look at the screen that says I to exit, you wouldn't notice. So yeah, that's just a little frustration. Other than that, don't think there's too much else that I don't like. What we will quickly do is run through the R mode. So you've got the little button to the side of the steering wheel for R. If I press that, it gives me a little bit more throttle response, stiffens everything up, but mostly you notice that if you've got, right, so if you have pills in you, you're going to hear them, okay? Even if you've taken any pills today, they're going to be rattling around in your body, because my God, is it stiff. Like, and it's not even necessarily stiff in the sense of like normally, so with the Exige it's very, very, like you can feel it. It's just kind of bouncy. You end up like bouncing around in the seat. It's just It's a pain in the arse, basically. But what is really cool is that you get the little red dash come up. That's, yeah, I love that. It's proper cool, proper cool. So I'm going to turn R off again because I actually can't bear to have it on the road. It's horrendous. So in terms of driving at slow speeds, it's very comfortable, it's very confident. You know, it just feels like a normal car. It's not, get quite a bit of feedback through the steering wheel still. You know, it's not normal car in terms of, you know, as compliant as most other cars. It's still kind of stiff, but it's really not too bad, if I'm completely honest. Yeah, if you're into this sort of stuff, you wouldn't really notice it. So the gearbox is absolutely gorgeous. I have to say, I think it's probably one of my favourite gearboxes that I've experienced. The Elise one is lovely and light, and this I would say is on par with it. It's just, it's like the right amount of clicky, but also the right amount of like smooth, and it just, I don't know, it just feels absolutely lovely. The placement of it is perfect, certainly perfect for me because I've got short arms and I'm, you know, yay far away from the steering wheel. Yeah, it just feels exactly what I think a gearbox should feel like. The other thing you notice when you're driving along pretty quickly is when you put your foot down, it basically sounds like something out of Max Power. So let me just demonstrate. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it, but you just get the turbo whine, and then like the valve is yeah, it's proper Max Power central. You could just imagine it. The noise is coming out of some souped up Corsa or something. It's quite amusing. Now, apparently, this is absolutely useless in the wet. I've seen multiple reviews, and also the owner of this particular car has confirmed this fact. It's kind of damp and a bit, you know, quite cold and a bit damp today. And I've got to say, put your foot down, and the torque steer is real. You have to literally hold on for dear life, otherwise I'm going into a ditch. Like, it's as simple as that. Apparently it's not as bad as that, like it's not even 10% as bad when it's dry. But yeah, just a warning, if you're hooning on a cold day, it's pretty squirmy, but again, I kind of enjoy it, you know. But what I think is actually the most impressive thing about this car is the limited slip diff on the front. So you just accelerate round the corners, and even, you know, even today it's a little bit damp, so I'm not being an idiot, but you accelerate round the corner and you can literally feel the limited slip diff as it like does its thing, and you can feel it just pulling you round the corner. It feels a lot like my fiance. You probably, it's fiance now. If you watch any of my videos, you'll know that he's got a ex-production touring car, Astra VXR, that's got a gripper diff on it, and when that's going around a corner, if you're going at slow speeds, it makes loads of noise and it's horrendous, but you have to get to higher speed, and then you can literally feel the diff lock in, and that is what this is like. You nail it round the corner and you can just feel it take you round, and it really just hankers down and goes. Absolutely fantastic. Do you know what? I would absolutely love to get this car on a track, because I'd imagine it is utterly fantastic. There's actually a Civic on my team in Time Attack, newer one, FK8. Yeah, FK8. Newer Civic on my team at Time Attack. It's got about we're about the same power to rate, I believe. And that, I can't get past it. Very, very, very good driver, but also now I understand how good the car is as well. Like, just, yeah, absolutely brilliant. Right, fun factor, I think I'm going to go with an 8. It is pretty up there. Still not the Exige. I would say it probably foregoes some funness in exchange for practicality. But practicality is like an 8, I would say. You can pretty much fit whatever you want in the car. You can fit all your 3 children and scare the crap out of them while driving like a absolute loon on the road or the track. So I would say, in terms of all-round car that does everything and, you know, takes you to a track day, really, really good to drive, but you can also fit your entire life in, this is the best all-rounder I've driven so far. Oh my god, you just turn it into a corner and it just pulls you round. It's insane. Now, I've been bedding in the brakes a bit today. Jesus Christ. So I've been bedding in the brakes a bit today. So I've been kind of going up to speed, braking really hard. Now, in the wet, you brake hard, even in a straight line, it unsettles the car. So again, that is something to be aware of in the wet, certainly, and the cold. Be careful with any harsh braking, be careful with any harsh accelerating, because you're going into a ditch potentially. One thing I will say as well is it really doesn't feel like it's only got 300 horsepower. It also doesn't feel like you're 0 to 60 in 5.7 seconds, or 0 to 62, whatever, in 5.7 seconds is actually quite slow by today's standards. Most cars that I'm driving, you know, are sort of between the 3 and 4.5 seconds. But it doesn't feel like it's that slow. I wouldn't actually... Yeah, I don't know, it doesn't feel like it at all. It feels like it's got a lot more to it. And also the torque is just, there is so much torque in this car. So much torque. Sake, this car is such an asbo. Honestly, if you could like... Honestly, it really does live up to its looks. Like, it is the most asbo car I've ever driven in my life. It's just brilliant. It's so good. Love it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe and turn on your notifications. Also, do drop a comment, let us know what you think of the videos, what you'd like to see us do in the future. We've got some really cool stuff coming up next year. But in the meantime, I will see you next week.